Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Today brings us to what is almost the center of our church calendar, what everything revolves around. We'll have the midnight service tonight, as you know. But today brings us to a celebration. You see, a couple of days ago, they found a man who challenged the authorities, who challenged those who thought that they knew what was going on. And so they brought him to a kangaroo court and then strung him up and left him for die and thought, that's it. We've gotten rid of this one. We've answered the question, who will rid us of this meddlesome man? And we felt the impact of this. We felt the words, crucify him. Crucify the one who had only given. The one who had done his utmost to bring us not only to good ethics, many philosophies get you there, but to salvation. Who had not only given us a path towards salvation, but made that very path himself. And then we felt him taken from us. And we lamented this. And today brings us to the other side. Today brings us to the other side, knowing the resurrection. We're brought to the other side in a place of hope, in a place of joy. A place of joy that nothing around us can take away. There was someone who looked at world history, and there's revolutions, and there's overthrows. And there's one revolution of import in the history of mankind, the history of the world, and the history of the cosmos. That is this revolution, where creation was upended, was all turned upside down by the sin of Adam. Now Christ has come to restore this. Not immediately. Not even as we look outside. We don't have to look far to see the impact of sin. That is sickness. That is death. We don't have to look far to see this. But its power over us is gone because of the resurrection. Because of our Lord, who used death to destroy death. And he came back. It wasn't enough that Hades was broken, that Hades was obliterated. No, that wasn't enough. He came back. He came back and called his disciples to himself, as we heard in today's gospel reading. Called first those who had gone to his tomb. You're looking for Jesus of Nazareth. He's not here. He rose like he told you he would. And then the disciples themselves were told, he rose. Go to a mountain in Galilee and you'll see him there. And sure enough, that's exactly what happened. And they worshipped him, even though some doubted. With our benefit of hindsight, this is not a luxury that we would allow ourselves. But this is the first time that they had heard of someone who had been dead for 3 days rising from the dead. We heard earlier about people coming back from the dead, but not after 3 days. After 3 days, they're done. But not our Lord. First, Lazarus was raised by someone else, by our Lord. And then, unprecedented, Jesus brought himself back as he rose from the dead. No one else was there to bring him back to earth, to bring him out of the depths. He did that. He did that as our Savior. And he gave us something. He gave us directions. The apostles worshipped him. Some doubted, but they still worshipped. There were doubts in the back of their mind. Another case of, Lord, I believe, but help my unbelief, as we hear elsewhere in the Gospels. And Jesus tells them something. He says, all authority has been given to me in heaven and on earth. So what should we do? Go and make disciples. You're going to need to baptize them. This is something that we're missing this year. The centrality of baptism for this feast. And I know a lot of people are celebrating the anniversary of their baptism. It's our joy too. And making disciples, you're going to need to baptize them. You're going to need to teach them everything that has been commanded. And behold, I am with you always to the end of time. We're given some very, very direct instructions, dear ones. There's a lot of people who are without, who are without the peace that we may take for granted, knowing that death has no power. It's for us to invite. It's for us to bring this to other people who would be following Christ if only they knew him. If only it was brought to them by the church that he established, and all in that context of his theology, of our understanding of our Lord as one who loves us, primarily as one who loves us, not as a logical proposition, but one who wants us home. This is for us. This was our last commission, our last instructions from our Lord. And this is what we do until he returns. Because we know that in this, he will be with us to the end of the age. And so, wherever we find ourselves, in whatever situation we find ourselves, under more or less regulations in which we find ourselves, and after these regulations, so much the more, let us share this gift. The gift that multiplies as it is distributed. And may he be with us to the end of time. Amen.